I work in the field of education,
Okay.
and we were coming down here to Springfield to the courthouse to demand that we get some satisfaction about some of these politicians who keep voting against what we want them to vote for, especially when it comes to marijuana and other things like that, drugs in particular. And I told Linda I was coming down. I had talked to her on the phone. I had never met her. And but she was a mom, one of the basketball. We're the MPBP, Mothers of Professional Basketball Players. So when I came down, she said, "Well, I'll come and I'll meet you." And I'm like, "Okay, that's so nice, because I never even met her before."
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because she didn't know what I looked like. I didn't know what she looked like. Well, I get to the parking lot where we parked, and this tall lady was coming toward me. And it was several other women with me. She came straight up to me. And I said, "How'd you know me?" She said, "'Cause your son looked just like you." I said, "And I know your son, and he looked just like you." We knew the sons, and the mom's faces looked just like the sons' faces. So
that's awesome.
And we've been friends ever since.
That's awesome.
She came to help support my efforts in stopping the situation that we're still having in this poor state. Is getting ready to go down.
Sure. So if you don't mind, do you want to get into that a little bit? What were you actually talking about, like the situations?
Making marijuana legal, recreational marijuana legal, and they don't understand the ramifications of it. They think that it's going to bring so much money. Oh yeah, then it's going to be cheaper on your taxes. All they have to do is just go to Colorado and Washington State, and they will see what's happening. The homeless population has quadrupled. And I hate to call people drug addicts, because they don't like to use that term anymore, but it's like a festive. It infested the whole area. Mm-hmm. My son just moved to Spokane to coach in Gonzaga, and my daughter-in-law called and said, "Mom, it's like drug addicts, people and homeless people all over this place." And now they're not living in that kind of a place.
Right.
But she says, everywhere you go, though, that's what you see. I said, "Oh, you know why, don't you?" And she says, "No, what is it?" I said, "Because Washington and Colorado were the first ones to legalize recreational marijuana. So people started leaving their states, flooding to those places, just so they can smoke freely. And it has made them lose everything and caused the population to just escalate into nothing but people that are high every day."
Yeah. Your concern and care about that leads me to this question that you kind of alluded to earlier. You said you were in education. How did you get into education?
Oh, my goodness. Well, when I went to Illinois State University, actually, my major was theater. Because I wanted to be, I was a singer, a jazz singer professionally, pretty much, primarily a jazz singer, but I did sing other songs as well. But, when you meet somebody who you think is going to be your lifetime person, things kind of change. I felt like, well, I don't know if I'm really going to do a whole lot with this theater thing. And then you're all in love, and you get married, and you have a child, and now you think education sounds more. And when my daughter was actually, I graduated with, my degree was in education, early childhood, but I didn't really want to pursue it as much until I had my daughter.
Okay.
Loved it. And so I became an early childhood teacher, became a kindergarten teacher, and I did that for 12 years. And then I'll tell you what happened. During that time, I had so many students that had such difficulties in learning disabilities and things like that. And in most cases, it was because of drugs, because of their parents, and because of coming into this world as an infant, having to be detoxed.
It's rough.
Several students had to be detoxed as infants. When you get their, reports and you see,
APs.
now you know Now you know why they're acting out in the classroom in the ways that they are acting out. So that made me think of doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
And when this job came up, they written a grant in my county for prevention. And I read what it was about. I was like, Now, I know I can help make an impact in early childhood, but that's just with the students. Now, maybe I can make an impact with the whole family. So that's what made me go into the prevention. And I went back and got a master's in health education.
Oh, wow.
And, you had to learn all the drugs and what they do. Mm-hmm. And then you have to also learn how to talk to the parents and get their trust, build their trust.
Right.
And I've been doing that ever since. I did it for 30 years.
When we're talking about, you're talking about drugs and hardcore drugs and things like that, or just drugs, period?
Drugs, period.
Now, we're...
alcohol included.
Yes. So we're coming into, January 1st here in our state, the legalization of recreational use of marijuana. Now, it's not a popular position for some, and it's not for others. So your battle, what you're telling us is it started when you're seeing the youth, then it's going to the parents, where some people are like, well, I don't see the harm in it, but you're also bringing up the downside of overpopulating a certain area, homelessness rising.
Yes.
So, like I said, it's popular and not popular in two different senses. Some people say, hey, we want it, we should be able to have it, and you're showing a different side of it. Because the coin does have two sides. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it does. Like I said, alcohol was the same thing. Years ago, what was it? Inhibitions and all of that. It was the same thing. They legalized it. And did it stop people from becoming alcoholics? No. But did it stop people from drinking? No. But did it make people start to drink? I don't know. But my thing is, I know so many kids, and just like my own kids, it's something about that word legalization. If I'm a kid that's trying to do what I deem and what my parents deem as right, then I'm not going to mess with this because I hear that it's illegal. Well, now that it's illegal, come on, Ma, it's legal.
Right.
Society says it's
changes
okay to
your whole
changes the perspective on some things.
Of thinking.
Well, if we think about it, the Holocaust was legal, slavery was legal. Does that make it right?
Does it make it right?
Exactly.
So that's my take, and I know, I get opposition all the time. That's okay. I mean, I'm still gonna
stand on yours. Yeah,
exactly.
You have an opinion, and you're well justified in having it.
And the things that I've seen, kids being shot because of drugs, and I mean, there was a kid that I knew very, very well, and when you actually see blood pouring out of a kid. I attended 24 funerals in 93 to 94.
Wow.
I don't think I've been to 24 in my life.
24 funerals.
What does that do to you as a person?
It's two things. It can make you cold and just cold-hearted and don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. Or it can make you more determined to do something about it. And so I took that more determined. and whatever I can do, if I can save, like they say, each one teach one, or each one reach one.
Yeah.
If I can do that, then that's what I'm going to do. And I retired last year, but guess what? I'm still doing it. Hey, that's just who I am, and that's what I'm going to do.
Now, when you go home, what community do you go home to?
Right now, I go home to Kendall County.
Okay.
And it's a county outside of Chicago.
All right. So now that you say that, the listeners understand what you're talking about. You've been to 24 funerals. The drugs and how they impact. We're talking about Chicago, Illinois, right now, in the present. So there's a lot of violence, a lot of youth violence, a lot of gun violence. So the legalization of a certain drug can boost that.
Exactly. And that's my fear.
Yeah. And that's your battle.
That's my battle.
we're glad you're on the battlefield.
I'm glad I am too, because I don't, if I just sat back and watched it happen and did nothing, then I felt like a failure. And what kid out there could I have helped and didn't?
Right.
It's so interesting the way you say each one reach one, and the two different ways you can feel. You could either do something or you could feel cold, and it's not out of bounds to be cold about it. It's something that can depress you. Like you said, we think about gunshots and gun violence. You experience gun violence, you may not become a perpetrator of that crime because of how it might affect you.
Yes.
Shooting at a distance is one thing, but I mean, the impact that it has on the human body, not even just the psyche, but it's serious, and it's a problem in our community. It's a problem, period. But in our community, it's on blast.
Yes. And we do fundraisers I remember one time in particular, when I was working, we did a fundraiser and we raised money to buy, I think it was 200 coats for kids that, needed coats.
Yeah.
And we chose to buy them the fashion coats, the starter jackets, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, did I take at work? They were, my kids don't even wear starter. That's what the staff do.
Yeah.
My kids don't even wear starter coats, and and I'm like, yeah, I know. And then my boss says, well, can you justify this? I said, I don't know if I can justify it to you, but I'm going to do my best. But I in my mind, I know why we purchased the starter jackets.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the kids are cold. Second of all, if we buy them the rusty coats, rusted, not rusty, rusted coats,
Regular,
the regular coats, they're not going to wear them.
They're not cool coats, yeah.
They're not going to wear them. And then some said, well, they get beat for those starter coats sometime too. I said, but the chances of them getting beat for a coat and not wearing it at all and staying cold and getting sick, I think I'll take my, I'll go this route. So, and the staff were, well, my kids don't even wear starter coats. I said, yeah, but your kids get a hot meal every day.
Yeah, your mom.
Your kids got a home to go to.
Yeah.
Your kids got a mom and dad there waiting on them, These kids got so much less than what your kids. Why can't they have something? A starter coat.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a start.
Yes.
I mean, it is. Feeling good, practical for me and mine, and someone who doesn't have the norm, you want to boost. I got where you were coming from with the starter.
For sure.
Yeah. And McDonald's came in one day and gave them a whole bunch of burgers.
Yeah.
And it was a Friday. Monday, do you know some of the kids still had burgers in their pockets?
Oh, wow.
Parents hadn't even checked them or nothing. Still eating on those burgers. I cried.
Yeah.
Some of them were turning green. But that was a meal.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get one at home. So they saved their burgers.
Wow.
You're doing something powerful. Impactful.
It's just, it's so much sadness. But when you see happiness too, because it's joy in their faces, and they enjoy coming to centers. They enjoy doing the things that we do. We bring in the athletes. My son, I tell him, and a lot of the parents say, well, we can't make these guys do anything. They're grown. They're our sons. I said, well, you can't make them, but I put emphasis on, Roger, I need you to be here to talk to this group of students. And, okay, but
hey, you know what I'm doing, son. You know what I'm doing.
Speaking on your son, he's been fortunate enough to play on some teams, and he's been on some teams abroad. Mm-hmm. Have you traveled abroad?
I loved it.
Could you give us an experience of some of that?
The first team he played on was in Italy, and we flew to Rome, and it was at Christmas time. Oh, my goodness. And so all of us are educators. My daughter, my husband, we all been in the school. So we all had that whole 2 weeks off.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. You're talking about, that was like, where else could you get that kind of, his playing has caused us to have so much more education just through traveling.
Yeah,
experience is like crazy. Yeah, but that was such a joy, just being over there. Mm-hmm. Everywhere he's played, we've pretty much gone until he got injured in France. So we didn't get a chance to go to France because he came home. And then the other place he got injured in was Spain. So, and he said, "Ma, I can't take it anymore. These injuries are too much."
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, that's your body.
Yeah.
When you're ready to call that quit, call it quits."
Yep.
So he went on to stay one more year, played in Germany. So we got to go to Germany. But one of the most most exciting adventures was when he played in Jerusalem,
Oh, wow.
the holy city.
Yeah.
And we got to go there for free. You know,
yeah.
2 weeks in the holy city for free and living how you want to live, because they treat them like the NBA treat the NBA players here is nothing like the way the European
Overseas, yeah.
I mean, seriously, because over here, the guys have to pay for everything. Over there, they don't.
Nope.
They
Everything's
give them
included.
a home. They give them cars.
And a salary.
And a salary.
they do.
And less taxes coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't even pay the agents as much. Well, I think they pay the agents a little bit more.
Mm.
Yeah, because over here they have a cap on that. But it was amazing. It was so much fun. Yeah, Jerusalem was, we went to the wall. We went to see Jesus where he stepped, where he walked. And it was just, and to stay that long. And
Right.
Yeah.
That's different. 2 weeks.
To be able to
Yeah.
actually be
that was
there.
spring break. We got to go. And you know what time spring break is, don't you? Easter.
Yeah.
So we were there at Passover.
Wow. What was that like?
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't have to pretend to you that I don't enjoy food. So that bread, that bread that they twist and fix and bake, what is it called? What is the name of that bread? Oh, I can't think of the name of it. But it is the best bread I've ever had in my life. And I'm not a big bread eater, but that would turn you into one.
Wow.
Oh my goodness!
The Jesus bread.
The Jesus bread, and they broke it just like
breaking bread.
Breaking bread. Oh,
so
my
you
gosh.
actually got to experience what it would be like to walk in, and then the time of the year.
Yes, and then the malls in all these different countries, just like. You would think that, well, they probably don't have as much. Their malls are. Only thing was a little scary, though. That's when we first walked into the mall in Jerusalem. Beautiful malls all over the place. I think they had like 11 malls or something like that.
Wow.
In one little place. You walk in, and it's like guards standing there.
Oh, yeah.
And
Different.
you have to put your bags down, and they go through this metal detector, and they warn you. And I'm like, we looking at each other, and everybody else is just walking in like, and we're looking at. So I guess they said, out of towners.
It was
as scary as that is.
We were the foreigners.
Yeah,
we were definitely the foreigners because it was like, but you just go on in and pick your stuff back up and go. Then church, the same thing. You walk into church, guards sitting there with the guns and stuff. I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. A real shock.
As crazy as that sounds, it's so necessary.
Well, we're kind of having to do it now too.
Yeah.
My church has a police in front of the church every Sunday. So
they're in church.
Yeah,
they're in church. That is crazy. There are certain places that are off limits when it comes to certain things.
It used to be.
Yeah, it used to be. I should say.
That is not the case any longer. Nothing's off limit.
No.
Now it's becoming a requirement.
Yeah. And then another thing about when we used to do the camps and the basketball courts and all that for the kids to come and play. And I would sit there and observe after I check them in, because we checked them in and check them out. And parents had to be responsible, come get their kids. There were times when they would try to drop off a 2-year-old with a diaper. I am not kidding you.
Wow.
Like, miss, a diaper.
It's daycare.
Nothing but a diaper. No, this is basketball camp.
Wow.
Well.
Wow.
That's that. Wow.
Yeah. But you'd have the so-called and I hate labels, but hey, that's what our society live with. The gangbangers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I sat there and I thought about the gangbangers and what they were doing. They were playing basketball, and we had a hot dog truck there, and we had an ice cream truck there. And I watched and saw what they were doing. They were buying hot dogs for the kids.